Greetings, it's Catherine Halpin. Thank you for opening this link. I want to share my intention for 2018 for all of us. I want it to be our best year ever. And for those of you who know me, you know that that means that I want us to make more money, work less hours, and have a greater impact. Create more win-win-win results in our organizations, regardless of where we're playing. If we're a chairman of a board, of a corporate board, or if we're a board of director, or we're a C-level person, or we're a middle manager, wherever we are, I want us to all create environments where people feel encouraged, engaged, and empowered to bring their best. I wanted to share this video and ask you to reflect on it periodically because it's so important, what I'm going to share with you this morning about our Step Up or Step Out program, a little refresher for all of our clients. And also wanted to ask you to share it with your colleagues because we need everybody to be using these principles so that we can create workplaces that work for everybody. And so everybody can make more money and work less hours. So just a little bit about me. I spent what felt like 150 years as a CPA. For those of you who don't know me, if you do know me, you've heard those stories. And I was always so frustrated that people weren't dealing with the people issues. Because if you have people, you have people issues, right? So 23 years ago, I swung the pendulum to the far side of business, and I've been facilitating and acting as a growth strategist, a business growth strategist, and accelerator for 23 years. And I didn't set out to do that. I set out to be a facilitator of processes, but I just naturally fell into helping people get the right people in the right roles based on their strengths. And when you do that, organizations grow organically, and they grow rapidly. We have many clients who've realized a 2 to 3 times growth in their revenues, their profits, their shareholder value. It's extraordinary. So a key piece of that has been the Step Up or Step Out program. If you've worked with me in the last few years, you know that about a decade ago, we rebranded that program because one of our chief medical officer clients asked us to rebrand it. He had his people on it, and then he was asking me and my team to train those people and their teams to put all their people on it. And so he said, we just can't call it the Step Up or Step Out program, Catherine. So we called it the Bring Out the Best in Your People program now. And that was the basis for the book. And you can see the book in the background, Alignment for Success, Bring Out the Best in Yourself, Your Teams, and Your Company. So what I want to share with you today is just a refresher on the Step Up or Step Out program. If you've been trained in it before, you know how easy it is to work and how many successes you can generate and how quickly you can generate those successes. And if you're new to the Halpin companies because somebody shared this video with you, it's because they care about you. They want you to have a great year, and they want you to get the work done through other people. We can all work more hours. That's an option always, but then we are at risk for having our judgment impaired and our decision-making impaired. And from the fatigue, when I was a workaholic as a CPA, my perspective was so narrow I couldn't see the forest for the trees. And then, or you could not delegate, not get the work done through people, but eventually that's going to catch up with you no matter how much of a rock star you are. It's going to catch up with you that you can't get the work done through other people. So many reasons to pay attention to this and to do the exercises I'm going to share with you now. It's a way to create a workplace that works for everybody. So how do you create these amazing, almost magical results? Well, it's pretty simple. The first step is to take 20 minutes of strategic think time. Now, if you're new to the Halpin Companies methods, you don't know what that is. That's simply time where you shut the door to your office or you stop at a coffee shop and you open your laptop or your iPad and start with a blank document, or you just pull out a blank legal pad. And it's where you think strategically and you catch yourself and you coach yourself. And in this instance, I'd like to ask you to take 20 minutes and think about all the people that have let you down, all the people that you're disappointed in, all the people that are not delivering on time and on budget. Just do a brain dump, we call it, of all those people. If you're on a board of directors, think about the people that are not speaking up, not being willing to address the difficult situations with management, the challenges, not bringing their experience and perspective to bear on those solutions. If you're a C-level, it could be one of your people that maybe is not as forthright as you need them to be with bad news. And maybe you might have noticed a pattern or a trend with that. If you're just a random vice president or middle manager, I'm pretty sure you probably have somebody on your team, could be Bob or Joe or Betty Sue, that is not delivering on time and on budget. So just think about all those people, and think about people that are 2 layers above you, think about your peers, and think about the people that are at all levels below you, because this works on every level. So you might want to shut off the video and do that list. Now that you're back, I want you to take another 5 or 10 minutes with that same list, and I want you to pick just one person on the list. We can't address everybody until you really get the muscle built with the Step Up or Step Out program. So just pick one that's going to give you a significant ROI, and it's going to be worth your time and effort. So pick that one person. It might take you a few more minutes, but it's important to get somebody that's going to give you a real strong ROI, so you'll be motivated to stay in the conversation with them. In some cases, people will self-select out or step up in one conversation, so the same day you'll see results. Sometimes it will take 2 or 3 weeks. Rarely takes 2 or 3 months. Usually people make that decision, and 9 times out of 10 they step up and they start bringing their best self, and they help you create an environment for other people to bring their best self. So once you have that clarity about who it is and what it is that you need from them, now I want you to go back to your brain dump in your strategic think time and make a broader list. I want you to write down a bunch of bullets about what they have not delivered for you, why you're disappointed in them. And it could be that you need them to speak up and share important issues with you in a more forthright manner, more quickly. It could be that you just simply need them to develop a plan to get a project back on track, on time and on budget, or at least eliminate further delays and further cost overruns. It could be that you need them to all step up, all the people that work for you to step up and increase their bandwidth on their own team so that they can get out of reactive mode doing their people's jobs, and they can be more available to help you be strategic and proactive in your role. So now go again back to that blank screen. This should be your 3rd or 4th time to pick up that pen or open that blank screen and start writing. Now I want you to ask yourself this critically important question. If I could rewind the clock a few weeks or a few years, what would I have done differently in this situation? If it's a colleague on a board of directors, would you have tried to build a stronger connection, maybe had coffee with those people or lunch, spent more time with them, at the board dinners, try to catch them in the hall? Or if it's one of your direct reports, are you meeting with them? Sometimes people will tell us at the Halpin companies, they'll have a problem with a guy named Joe, and I'll say, when did you meet with Joe last? And they say, well, we never meet with Joe. He's an idiot. Why would we meet with him? And I'll say, well, it's no problem, but that you're just giving Joe permission to continue to perform at this poor level. So if you want to get different results, you have to use different approaches, and you have to get out of your comfort zone. You got to go meet with Joe. But before you do that, make sure you listen to this whole video and do these exercises because they're so powerful. So think about what role you played, and if you could rewind that clock, what you would do differently next time, because it's so important that you are able to articulate that to Joe or whomever. Sometimes we give people projects and we don't even take the time to articulate, even to ourselves, much less to them, what we think success will look like. So is that, if you could rewind the clock, is that what you would do differently? That you would have more time up front to brainstorm, to ask questions, to gain the team's buy-in, to give them permission to ask you questions? Would you have more interim checkpoints through the project? There's always things in hindsight we would have done different, a dozen of them. So just find 2 or 3 that you can take responsibility for. And whatever you see that you might have done differently, I want you to prepare yourself to say to Joe, Joe, I'm so sorry that you haven't been successful in this situation. And I want to take full responsibility for that. And I want to do whatever it takes to help you get back on track. And more importantly, I want to help you gain more trust and confidence in me and our process here. I want you to trust me. I want us to have mutual respect. I want you to have confidence that I'm here to help you. So we're going to get this project back on track. and we're going to work together to do it, but I want to first take full responsibility and accountability that I let this project get sideways or this situation occur. And I want to do whatever it takes to clean this up, to help you be successful, and then regain your trust and confidence. And then you say, so let's get together. Would 3 o'clock this afternoon work? So we can brainstorm about what it's going to take to move this situation forward in a positive and productive and powerful way and get a win-win-win result for everybody. I want you, Joe, to be a rock star with our clients and with your internal customers, and I know we can create that. But before you go to Joe with this critical message, you have to take a moment and think about what value has Joe brought to your organization, to your clients, to his team, to your team. And sometimes you can't really think of those things because you're so agitated with Joe. So try to think about things like when Joe went to Wisconsin 3 or 4 times one summer because his grandmother was dying. I mean, maybe that's all you can come up with to be grateful for about Joe. But if you can think some positive things about Joe, it's going to shift your mindset and going to create an environment for Joe to step up. Joe's ability to step up is directly correlated with your expectations of Joe's ability to step up. So you have to be in the right mindset before you go to Joe. So doing that little gratitude exercise, where's the added value in these 3 or 4 areas, puts you in the right mindset. Plus, you want to be able to be prepared to acknowledge him for where he is adding value. So I guarantee you this method works. But what we normally do as human beings is that we step over Joe's poor performance or Betty Sue's poor performance. We kind of rationalize. We say it's not that big of a deal. We justify why they're late or why they didn't deliver or why they didn't speak up or why they weren't forthright. And we kind of gloss over it. But in order to make more money, work less hours, and have greater impact, you have to address every little issue. So the least little subtle message that you get that something might be going off the rails, you got to stop Joe in the hall and you say, Joe, I'm confused. Help me understand. Where's that project standing? Are we really at risk for getting behind? Let's talk about that. Let's schedule a meeting. So you got to engage Joe in a new and different and more consistent way. And you got to address those red flags. And those red flags are gifts. The question is, are you willing to unwrap those gifts and embrace them as gifts? Because what happens most organizations is that we step over, and then we blow up. Joe's an idiot. You blast him. You might even blast him in public. You're disappointed in yourself. You're so frustrated. How could you let the situation deteriorate? And when you do that, poor Joe only has one option. Joe's only option is to defend, to justify, to rationalize, and to blame other people. That's all he can do at that point. And now we have a no-win situation. So is that what you want? You want the situation to deteriorate further, the project to get further behind, for Joe to either leave and take all his institutional knowledge with him, or worse, retire in place, quit but stay on the job and drag down the rest of the team's morale and just be a negative influence like a cancer in the whole organization. So you really don't want that to happen. You don't want to wait that long. You want to very quickly address the things. And then the cost to our organization when it deteriorates is just immeasurable in terms of employee morale and productivity. But the key is the consistency, staying engaged with Joe consistently and giving him shorter time frames and accelerate the volume of accountability so that he can decide quickly. It's human nature to just say, oh, well, that's just Joe. That's all we can expect from him. No, raise your standards and get yourself in the right mindset. And then Joe will step up 9 times out of 10. Now, if you've been, if this video has been forwarded to you by someone that you know, the reason for that is because they really trust you and they respect you and they want you to have a great year in 2018 and they want you to make more money and work less hours and have greater impact. So if you're interested in learning more about these methods, we have lots and lots of methods. We have a whole book. We have another book coming out just on the 1 principle of strategic think time. If you're interested in any of this, we work individually and we work collectively with teams. We can do programs We're going to do a program for an association in May where the COOs of their organization, member organizations, are going to come together with all their direct reports, and they're going to go through these exercises collectively, and they're going to come up with a plan for half a dozen people that need to be put on the Step Up or Step Out program, or excuse me, the Bring Out the Best in Your People program. So we have a variety of ways we can work with you. Our phone number in Phoenix is 602-266-1961. We're on the web at halpincompany.com. And we've worked over the telephone and over Zoom with clients all up and down the East Coast and the West Coast, really from Juneau, Alaska to Brussels, Belgium. We've had clients over the last 23 years. So we can work with you wherever you are. Look forward to hearing from you. Good luck, and let's make 2018 your best year ever.